Welcome back, chemistry fans. I've got the wrong camera on, so here I am. I'm still looking silly. This is the third part of the types of reactions activities. I've got two more of them for us to do. I'm going to do a neutralization, an acid and a base, and we're going to see proof of that with a pH probe. And then we're going to do a redox reaction where it's oxidation reduction. We're going to see proof that electrons are exchanging their locations. We're going to use an ORP probe for this. All right, so I'm going to trade my camera down to the screen surface here, and what you will see is that I have a LabQuest, and it does present to you pH data. So I will try and get it to where you can actually see it a little bit at a time. At an angle, you can see it there. I'm going to take this evaporating dish. I'm going to put a little bit of water into it. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to put some of this baking soda, NaHCO3, and that one is just essentially it's a base. And so what we do is we stir that one up in here, dissolve it nicely into the water. And then we'll take the pH of this said water here with a little bit of base in it. And what you notice is, well, yeah, it is basic, 9.56. That's a lot higher than where it was whenever I had it in just normal water. So let me just run it under normal water. And what you will notice is the pH goes way down. It's supposed to go way down. Let's see if it will get clean here at any point. All right. So I've got it now in here again with the base, and where you see it is 9.56, something along those lines. Well, now let's see what happens if we add a little bit of just regular old vinegar. Vinegar is an acid. So let's see if we can bring down that pH after I add some acids to it. Well, first off, you notice there was a nice little sizzle in there. And what do you notice is happening with the pH? The pH instantly starts to decrease. The more I add, the more it's going to decrease. The more we have that sizzle there, and I continue to lower the pH every time I add just a little bit of acid to it. Now, I could keep doing this until we hit a neutralization. So I went past it. I'm now too acidic. So maybe if I add just a sprinkle touch more of the base into it, maybe I could bring it back up and it would be close. Well, that would have been my goal. I'm pretty close right there, but it looks like I went too far. So I got pretty close to neutralization, which would happen at a pH of 7. Okay, so that is one of my reactions. That is called a neutralization. And then the second reaction that I want to participate with you today is something called a redox. So let me move this equipment out of the way, and I will bring in the redox reaction next. And the redox reaction, it is going to measure voltage, millivoltage to be specific. So it's got some MV values here. And the probe on this one, well, it's a nice little red one, nothing specific about the color or anything like that. And what I'm going to do is similar to what I did before. I'm going to add some water, and I'm going to add a little bit of this chemical called copper sulfate. It's a nice, pretty blue one. And I'm going to use the blue spoon, and I'm going to add a scoop of this blue powder into my water. And I'm going to stir it all up nice and even. And again, it's going to make that blue water something similar to what we saw with the copper chloride, although this is copper sulfate. And so now I've got it nice and it's pretty well dissolved there. And what we're going to do then is I'm going to start getting my initial measurements of the ORP measure. So how many electrons are in this? Well, first off, hold on. Let me zero out my sensor here. Zero that, 0. Okay, so now there should be nothing on my ORP because it's not in any liquid. So once I put it in, let's see what it does. And it's showing that there are some electrons that are being lost. They are given into this sensor. So it is measuring the amount of electrons that are being taken by this sensor. All right, now let's see what happens after I add a little bit of this iron powder. So I've got this iron, It's a nice black, almost brown at times because it started to rust. So I'm going to take just a few scoops of that and I'm going to add it in there. And let's see what happens to my electrons after I've added that in there. Well, it starts going heavily in the other direction. So we've got now proof that these electrons are being taken out of the water. These iron, they are stealing the electrons at a really fast rate. And so the electricity in this is starting to change a lot. It's taking the electrons from the blue water, putting them into the, or it's taking the electrons from the iron rather and putting it into the blue water because the iron wants to lose its electrons. All right, this is everything that I wish to share with you, and good for me because I just ran out of time. So thank you very much for your time. And